Harvey North stepped off the transit car and into the synthetic dusk of Ioneris Arc 9, his jaw set tight against the exhaustion that clung to him like a second skin. It is a feeling many of us know, the hollowness that comes not from a lack of activity, but from a lack of meaning, where life becomes a series of freight audits in silent rooms. The mid-deck was a spectacle of blue and gold light reflecting off polished floors, a theater of forced joy where people in sleek jackets laughed too loudly, pretending the air didn't hum with recycled ventilation. Harvey, a man carved from 6 years of defense logistics, walked with hands buried in his pockets, auditing the emptiness inside him, just as he audited cargo on the Kai Terrace market deck. He wasn't seeking pleasure, not really. He was seeking a pause in the numbness. The pleasure quarter offered a different kind of silence, scented with citrus steam and the heavy perfume of transaction. At the broker counter, the exchange was cold and efficient, a mirror of our own world's tendency to commodify intimacy. A brass token slid through the slot. Suite 19, 1 hour, no refunds. Harvey took it, fighting a wave of shame that heated the back of his neck. He was a man of discipline, yet here he was, purchasing a moment of existence. Room 19 bathed him in amber light. When the woman emerged from the shower stall, she didn't wear the mask of seduction he expected. She was striking, skin a rich, smooth violet, long green hair braided with utilitarian strands of copper wire. She wore a fraying microfiber wrap and an expression that weighed him like a threat assessment. "I'm Nara," she said, her voice devoid of the artificial sweetness the brochure promised. "No forced sweetness." "Harvey," he replied. He saw her eyes first, pale green and focused. "I want honesty, no act. We eat first." It was a disruption of the script. Nara, accustomed to men who rushed to consume, paused. They sat on the floor, sharing plates of seared corned beef and pickled roots. The food was sharp, hot, and grounding. In stories like this, sharing a meal is often more intimate than the act of sex. It is a declaration of shared humanity. They spoke of what they hated, noise, pretense, trading small truths like currency. When she fed him a piece of meat by hand, the contact sparked something dormant in Harvey's chest. He realized he couldn't go through with the transaction he had paid for. "I don't want a performance," he told her. "I want something real enough that I don't feel like a stranger to myself when I leave." They spent the hour in a quiet that wasn't empty. They watched the live feed of the Kai Terrace night market, the steam rising from grills, the wind bells turning. Nara revealed the faded scar on her wrist, a mark of an expired pair bond, a testament to a system that treated devotion as a lease. When the hour ended, Harvey didn't leave her with a hollow promise. He slept fully clothed behind her, respectful, offering her the rarest gift in that quarter. Safety without expectation. Morning brought clarity, sharp and decisive. Harvey left with a promise to return, not for the product, but for the person. He moved with the precision of his logistics training. He bought grilled Brinox skewers, the burn on his tongue waking him up, before marching into the contract office. The transaction was sterile, a digital transfer, a printed clearance strip. He had bought her out. But freedom, Harvey knew, requires preparation. He stopped at a supply stall, purchasing basic toiletries, soap, a toothbrush, tea leaves, ensuring that if she came with him, she wouldn't arrive empty-handed. When he returned to room 19, he laid the folded clearance strip on the table. "I cleared it," he said. "Your decision. If you walk out, I won't block you." Nara studied him, looking for the catch, the hidden debt. Finding none, she accepted the small bag of items, her eyes warming at the tea leaves. "I choose to come with you," she said, "but not as someone who owes you." She collected her life from a locker, a tin box with cheap bracelets, a photo of 2 Arini girls, and a faded receipt. It was a meager archive of a life, but it was hers. As they left, a guard stopped them, his eyes sliding over Nara with familiar disdain. Harvey handed him the strip. "Calm paper." The green light flickered. She was clear. Stepping out onto the promenade, the air was cooler, reality rushing in. Harvey draped his coat over her shoulders, a gesture of protection rather than ownership. They went immediately to the market, Harvey insisting on erasing the visual markers of her servitude. At a clothing stall, Nara chose a dark green skirt and a modest black top, shedding the microfiber wrap of the pleasure quarter. She looked in the mirror and saw a person, not merchandise. Over breakfast at a cafe, Harvey laid out the logistics of their new arrangement. He didn't want a partner born of necessity. He wanted her to have the means to leave so that staying would be a choice. He introduced her to Kiro, a stall owner on the terrace. Nara worked a trial shift, handling the grill and the customers with a steely grace that impressed both Cairo and Harvey. She earned her first envelope of cash, clean money untethered to her body. Harvey's apartment was modest, a space of gray tones and windbells on the balcony. He gave her the bedroom, taking the couch himself. "You need a door you can close," he said. It was a profound offering to someone who had been denied boundaries. They stood on the balcony, watching the market wake up below, two survivors of their own solitudes trying to figure out how to be alone together. Days turned into a rhythm. They built a routine of tea in the morning and shared silence in the evening. A neighbor knocked, and Harvey introduced Nara simply, cementing her presence as valid. But trauma is a ghost that lingers. One evening, a windbell slammed against the rail, and Nara flinched, her body betraying the fear she kept leashed. Harvey didn't pity her. He steadied the bell and offered his presence as an anchor. "Calm isn't a trap," he told her. "It's a place to learn how to breathe." They began to reveal the scars that didn't show on skin. Harvey spoke of the military structure he lost and the relationship where he tried to mold himself into a shape that didn't fit. Nara spoke of the home she left at 16 and the bond that became a cage. They were navigating the terrifying landscape of autonomy. To break the cycle of routine, Harvey took her to a maintenance observation deck, a quiet strip overlooking the planet, a massive amber sphere swirling below. There were no tourists, only the hum of the station and the vastness of space. "Tomorrow you start earning steady," Harvey said, looking out at the void. "In a month you'll have enough to choose where you live. If you want your own place, I'll help you find it." Nara placed her hand on the railing next to his, then interlaced her fingers with his. "No contracts this time," she whispered. "No marks that expire." It was a verbal seal on an emotional truth. They returned to the apartment, changed. Nara set a container of food on the counter and walked to the bedroom door. She pushed it fully open, erasing the barrier she had needed days ago. "I want one change today," she said. "No separate meals, and the couch isn't your bed tonight." Harvey studied her, ensuring this was desire and not obligation. "You want the room shared?" "I want space that feels like ours," she answered. They cooked together, the smell of grilled meat and herbs filling the room, transforming the apartment from a shelter into a home. The domesticity was revolutionary in its simplicity. After dinner, they moved to the bedroom. There was no rush, no heavy expectation. Harvey turned off the light, leaving the door open to the hallway's soft glow. They lay down, legs touching, skin warming skin. Nara rested her head on his shoulder, and Harvey covered her hand with his. For the first time, the silence wasn't a void to be filled or a threat to be managed. It was a foundation. As sleep took them, neither Harvey nor Nara lay awake waiting for the other shoe to drop. They simply rested. Two people who had paid the price for freedom and found that the only thing worth possessing was the choice to belong to one another.